welcome back to the Garden with Drew and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along today. Time for your garden questions and our garden answers. You got a question, you can send it over, submit it for us to answer at gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or you can send us give us a call, toll free, coast to coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. Had a couple of questions come in this week on the hotline, so we'll address those right now. First, we'll go to...
This is Ilona out of Highland, Michigan, listening on Wham Radio 1600 AM. My question is, when is the best time to put compost in the garden, spring or fall? Thank you.
Lona is a longtime listener and supporter of the program. We appreciate you listening to us on WAAM 1600 AM and 92.7 FM out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Compost can be applied any time of year. If you have it building up and you need to distribute it and get it out of your pile, you can address it and just apply it in the fall. You can also apply it in the spring. It's not going to it's not like fertilizer where if you apply it in the fall, it's a waste because it's going to diminish in value, in nutrient level by spring. So you can go ahead and top dress your beds in the fall. You can top dress them in the spring. There is no wrong answer to when to apply the fertilizer, Holly.
No, absolutely not. There's compost.
And now, as we're getting into late summer, now officially fall, there are garden centers who you want to call up and pay attention to because they may have sales on the compost in which they have because they're wanting to move it for their new shipment in the spring type of thing. So there is an opportunity. And if you're going to purchase compost, I would recommend, if you are able to, purchase in bulk. Now, not everybody's financially able to do such and or able to, go and get the compost. Many and almost all of these garden centers have the available resources in order to deliver the compost to your property. There is an added fee to that. But in the overall calculation of compost per square foot versus bag material, you are hundreds of dollars cheaper by buying 1, 2, or 3 yards of compost. And a yard of compost is if you had a box that was 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot across a square and 3 foot high and 3 foot deep. That is how much compost is 1 cubic foot. So let's just do the math here. Holly, you want to get your little calculator out? You got one handy there? Let's do a little radio math here.
Radio math.
Let's say a yard of compost is $40 and you're going to get 3 yards of compost. That's $120.
You need me to calculate that?
Plus, let's say the delivery fee is $60.
Okay.
And what do you have there?
$180.
Now, let's say that you want to go buy bagged compost from your garden center because it's on sale for $15 a bag, and
that's a cubic foot.
A cubic foot.
Yeah.
So you need, let's say $10 a bag, and you'll need 100 bags.
That's a lot. That's $1,000.
You're going to look at $1,000. So, that would be
Why would you need 100 bags?
100 cubic foot.
Oh.
Divide that by 3. That's about 30. Anyway, my point is it's fractional compared to, because we've bought compost in bulk, and we paid it was like I think it was $250 or something for so much. And if we would have bought that same, and I remember this, if we would have we paid like $180 for the compost and $60 for the delivery fee.
Yeah.
So whatever that figures out, about $230. If we would have bought that same quantity in bags, we were going to spend over $600 in bags, and that wasn't even to get it to the garden. That was we would have to go and pick it up in a vehicle and get it. So it's a fraction, and just be aware of that. It's a fraction. All right, let's go to Chicago, Joliet area.
Hi there, this is Frank calling from Joliet, Illinois, listening to WJOL. A friend of mine was telling me that, I have skunks. and they come and go. They're tearing up my yard. I don't have any sheds, anything for them to hide under, so they're like passing through. And I was told they have a chemical or product called Critter Away, pellets or a liquid you can make up. And talked to a trapper. He wanted a bunch of money to set traps out, and someone check them for 7 to 10 days. So I thought I would start with this stuff first, and I put down powder in the yard, but it's so drought. We haven't rained here in about 5 weeks, so it's hard as a rock. And I watered it with the sprinkler, but I don't know if it kills the grubs. That's what they're digging up, I assume. And do coyotes eat skunks or kill them? We have a few in the neighborhood coming up from creeks in the area, which we've never had before. Appreciate your help.
Well, Frank, we appreciate you listening to us on WJOL 1340 AM out of the Joliet area. And we'll start backwards here with your question in regards to do coyotes eat skunks? They do in a pinch. Mostly the predator of the skunk is hawks and owls. And eagles are the main predators of skunks. The birds can quickly strike and take the skunk up. Mammals, coyotes, foxes, dogs, bobcats, mountain lions may eat skunks, but usually will only resort to them if there is no other food available, which I guess if you're going to eat a skunk, you better be pretty hungry if you're going to capture a skunk due to the potent smell that they would deliver in a survival method. So that answers that question. In regards to removal of the skunks in your yard, they're eating the grubs in the yard. So phylum bioproducts, grub gone is an option. There are other removable methods, and you once we received this question, you did reach out to Frank and had a conversation with him.
Right. So trapping them is one choice. And then
and trapping them is a different. If you're going to have, it's not like you're trapping a possum or a raccoon.
No,
a skunk will disperse the spray.
Right.
So professional may be best to pay in order to have these removed.
Yeah. So it turns out also that Frank was having issue with the skunks digging up the grubs in the most like dead parts or dormant parts of his yard. So I suggested, and then also when he applied, whatever he applied to the
chemical application
to the soil, it said to water it well. And it's possible that he did not water it well enough because at this point we had within the region, there had not been much rain. So I suggested, watering it in a bit better. And then the skunks are passing through looking for food, so deterring them could be one option, or just hoping that they continue to move
There
on.
are motion sensors in which you can apply. There are
the lights.
Yeah. There are sprinkler systems in which motion and then shoots water at a particular animal to keep them out of your yard. So there are options. Simply, this might be one of those situations where if you don't want to have to pay to have them removed, it might be one of these tolerate it until the season changes and they go elsewhere.
That's kind of what it seems like, or using, again, the light to startle them, and just making sure that they don't feel that they should stick around.
And don't threaten them because they will, spray you.
Yeah, retaliate, I
Retaliate.
guess. Yeah.
All right, next question, Holly.
How to stop squirrels from digging up my flower beds. I heard that I can take, or digging up my flower bulbs. I heard that I can take those flower bulbs and dip them in chili powder and then bury them. Will that help?
Well, that will help, but by the time the squirrel gets a hold of them, they've already dug them up.
Right.
So applying or planting them at the proper depth and then taking chicken wire or poultry fencing based on your regional terminology and layering that over top of where the bulbs are and then applying mulch on top of that to hold that fencing down, or you can use logs or whatever, would by the time when they get the mulch removed, they're going to hit that metal wire, and they're not going to be able to dig any further, in which they will go elsewhere and find something else to dig up instead of your bulbs. So you could do both. You can also, if you don't want to try to find poultry wire or have to buy a certain footage, you can plant them and then sprinkle the chili powder over top of that area. However, when it rains, you're going to have to reapply. And depending on how many squirrels you have digging these up, once you apply that chili powder, if the squirrels get that, they're not going to come back because they're going to remember that was not a good experience.
Right.
So making sure you get all the neighborhood squirrels to ingest that chili powder so nobody digs it up before the rain may be a challenge as well.
It might be easier at that point just to use the poultry netting.
Let's real quickly here. Let's see. First year in raised bed gardening, I use a soaker hose in all my beds. Should I blow the hose out before winter and store it inside?
Yeah, I would do both. I would blow the hose out if you can, and then store them inside. The
soaker hose typically is applied above the bed. Now, with our situation, we have a main feed coming from the house faucet, which is 6 inches underground. Well above, it's in the freeze zone. And each bed has dripper lines to them. So what I do at the end of the year is at the end of the main feed, there is a flush out, and I open that flush out, and I take, because we don't have an air compressor, we utilize what we have. You can use a shot vac. We use an upright vacuum that has a export port on it where you can blow air out of it. So I will attach it with tape to the end that would normally attach to the faucet that goes to the house. Open the end of the main feed and let it run for about 10 minutes, and that blows all that water out. And what little residue of water is left in the drip line or in the main feed line does not damage the hose over winter. What happens is if you leave excessive water in there, water freezes, expands, and will crack your hose or your drip lines or your emitters. So that is how we tackle that. Well, we've come to the portion of the program where we discuss what we learned today. What did you learn today?
I learned about, is it called aeroponics?
Aeroponics.
Yeah, where the plant roots, they get kind of misted, and that's how they grow. Thought that was interesting.
And that the cracking method was developed in Hawaii. I learned that. Didn't know where that had developed from. I had heard the method many times, but never knew the origins of it. What we learned today is brought to you by Honey Be Healthy.
Honey Be Healthy is serious about the business of bees and helping beekeepers maintain healthy and thriving hives. Whether you're a professional beekeeper or a bee hobbyist, we've got the products to help you maintain a healthy hive. Honey Be Healthy products are made in the USA. You can visit honeybehealthy.com for more information.